Well, now that we got the toilet seat on, now we're ready to turn that water on. So I'm going to do that after I clean this stuff up, and then we're going to look for leaks to see if the tank is leaking between the tank and the bowl. Okay? Then we'll check and flush the toilet and make sure it's not leaking out of the base. I think we're going to be good, but we'll soon find out. Now, did you see why I double nutted it? And I didn't just use this plastic washer to hold this down to the Hercle flange. I mean, in the old days, and I'm surprised that the directions tell you that, I never do it that way. I always get rid of this plastic, put a washer down there, put a nut down there, get that where I want, get this tilted where I want, this bottom, if it makes a difference or not. Tighten it down there so that it's coming up, so that this doesn't want to slide, especially once I get it down there. Could you also see that once you put the toilet on there, if you only have this down here, let's say you just have this down there like that, and you put the toilet down over the wax ring, let's say, and this is all wobbly and stuff, and then it moves, and now you can't put the toilet down because this isn't straight up. And then once you do get it straight up, you go to put your washer and your nut on here, and what is this going to do? It's just going to spin. As you tighten up this top, the bottom is going to spin, and it could spin out of its slot down there, depending how they installed the Hercle flange, and it could come up, and you could be tightening it up crooked, and then this could pop out of the hole and come out. That's why I always like to double nut these. Okay, you're going to see what I see when I turn this on for the first time. This has been off for a couple months now. I actually had some plumbers help me. They took the toilet off. They took the pedestal sink off because they were doing some other work for us. They replaced the water heater. We put a tankless water heater up, and when we did all that, we had them change out the water supply valves. After about 15 years, a lot of times the water supply valves, they'll start leaking, or lots of them, their handle shaft might be plastic, and you go to turn it on or off. Maybe you break that handle off. I've snapped off those handles before. Or you try to turn it off all the way and the water doesn't go off all the way because there's something wrong with your valve. And we had that happen on a couple valves in one of the bathrooms and stuff. Then they had to turn the water off, take the valve off, and install a new valve. And so we had them do all that since we're just getting ready to move in. Sometimes that could be a good idea. Alright, this toilet is almost full, and I shouldn't have to make any adjustments to this tree. This tree valve here. It looks like it's almost up to the top too. And I could adjust the water by adjusting this, screwing this up or down, and they give you directions on that, I believe. That is the water is only an 1/8 of an inch below that pipe there. See right here? I mean, it's just barely there. So when I open that, then the water sucks down through there, and see, you flush a toilet, you're not going to flush all the water out of a toilet. You see what I mean? That's why they say 1.28 gallons, and I'm gonna look at this. I don't think any of the screws are leaking underneath. but I don't know that until I actually look down here where I tighten the nuts. And if that's leaking, that should be dripping, or you'll see some water here or something. I'm thinking I'm good. And you know, you might want to check it. You might want to check it even after a few days of using the toilet, let's say. You know, worst case scenario, if these were dripping just barely, let's say, just tighten these nuts up. You know, 3 turns, 3 turns, 3 turns, or something like that. Don't try to overextend. Don't try to go 8 turns over here and then thinking, okay, I'll just go 8 over here. Because now maybe you're so tight that on the 6th turn, 5th turn over there, you crack the toilet bowl or something. You know what I mean? Okay, so that looks pretty good. And I think I want to adjust that later. I don't think I'm going to do it now. I'm going to flush this, and we're going to see if this drips. I don't think it's going to. I'm gonna have to do a couple, but see, it didn't take much water. See, it only took from there up. I've never really seen this kind work before. Most of the ones I've had before is slightly different than that. Your toilet could be slightly different than that. Okay. But see, I think I want the water to stop down a little bit lower. But I'll check it. Now see, after that first flush, it's about the same. But watch when I flush it. See? It only goes half. And you shouldn't have to hold it like that the whole way. Now you've taken all the water out of it. Just flush it the way that you're supposed to, you know, on these toilets. And see if that doesn't give you enough water. Worst case scenario, if it doesn't give you enough water, then you can flush it and hang on to it. But like I say, I have not done anything to this toilet. It should be factory set and stuff. But the funny thing is, this nut on here is loose, first off. So I'm just gonna snug that up. I don't know why they did that. That was loose. Okay. And we'll check it a couple times and stuff. And so far I'm not seeing any water leaks down on the floor. And I shouldn't see any water leaks on the floor. With that type of waxless, I call it a waxless wax ring. You shouldn't get any water down there. Okay, I think I'm actually good. You'll see how much water actually goes down this. That's all it's designed for. That's it. And that should be enough. 1.28 gallons. Here, how many times have I flushed the toilet now? I'm a wasteful person now. I'm going to do it one more time here. And I think we're going to be good to go. That's just how it's designed. This flapper thing, it's not really a flapper. You know, that round goodie in there, that's just kind of how it works. And is there a way to adjust that? I'm not quite sure, because this is the first one of these that I've ever installed. Okay. But I'm thinking, I'll look at the directions. Maybe they'll have something on there. I'm down about 5/16 from the very top of this. And that could be where it is on normal toilet. I say normal toilets, but older toilets, you know, where you have the drain is only about as big as this diameter of this middle thing. Most of those, they say on the standard one, you want the water an inch below that. And so, see, this is up above this about a ½ inch, and then this down is down about 1/4. That's about 3/4 below that, you know. So it's probably within border, but like I say, if I wanted to adjust that, I can adjust that by adjusting this float. Okay, and I'm thinking, see, I'm about 1/4 right now. All I got to do is turn this. Let's see, turn it. I think turn it and not loosen it. Let's just see what that does. Let's just see what that does. I didn't turn it very much, did I? And you can do it with your hand too. It's just on a riser, threads that raises or lowers this float. Okay. If you want the water up higher, you make the float come up higher. You want it lower, you screw that to push the float down. So I'm going to say it's going to stop here pretty quick. And look at that. It's, oh, I see. I went the wrong way. I went the wrong way. I'm flush with the top of that now. Because this particular one, you've got to unscrew it, and that will push that down apparently. Okay, so unscrew it, and that's about where it was before. Now I'm going to unscrew it a little bit further. And see, this float is slightly different than the other floats that I've installed before. There. See, right now I'm down below this almost a good 3/8, almost a ½ inch, and I think I'm good there. I'm going to try that, and it should still flush. You're still getting the same amount, pretty much, power-wise. You know, it's just you don't have to fill the tank up as full. You see what I mean? I mean, how much am I actually saving water? Well, I'm saving about that much water over the entire area. Okay, and I'm going to leave it there. I think I'm good. Now, if you got any questions about something like that big, you're going to have to go to the store and check that out, because that's not part of this video or the directions. And on the directions on here, everything on a brand new toilet really should be set. Okay, here it should be set, but apparently it's not. Here, we'll talk about the water level for this particular toilet. Adjust the water level to the water line. Oh, good grief. Water line. There's a water line on the side. There's a water line on the side of here, apparently. Oh, okay. I can feel it. There is an actual water line there. Can you believe that? Okay. So, and see, it shows it right there, water line. See? Right there. And it's about an inch down below this one. And I gotta go down more. Well, good thing I read the directions, huh? Okay, so I'm going to adjust this some more. So on this one, I'm pushing that down, and on this particular one, that means I am loosening the threads. And I'm gonna go about there. And I can feel a definite etch all the way around. And I might even want to shine my phone. And I can see, there's that. And right there. Okay, I gotta go lower even. So I'm gonna, isn't that funny how you have to adjust things? I mean, I would have thought everything should be fine when it comes out, but apparently no go. That's why you should read the directions. Because you remember how far up that water was. It was about an 1/8 below this, and it's supposed to be at the water line. And that water line is about 1 inch. And see, I got it. I got it pretty close. We'll get you down there. You can't really see it from that angle. You see there. Remember before I was down it was only about 1/8. Now I'm way down here. And I can feel the line is just barely below that. Well, that's a lot of extra water that you're wasting on every single flush. You know? You don't need to do that. Do you? You don't need. Okay? Because if you flush this and hold on to it, you're taking all the water down. And when you're filling it back up, can you imagine this much extra water in this toilet tank? Every time you flush, that's probably, I don't know, half gallon? That could be about a half a gallon. Okay, I'm right there. That could be a half a gallon of water that you're wasting on every flush, had you have not adjusted that. Okay, see how low I am? Okay, way down to there. I think you can see that. Okay, I'm down there now. Glad I read that. Glad I'm showing you. Yes, apparently on these big ones it does matter. They're using this edge as the edge of a regular one that's only maybe 3/4 or 7/8 in diameter, you know, the old style. You want to be 1 inch down below that on a standard toilet valve drain spout that you have not cut or anything like that. And then you can adjust your fill valve, your toilet fill valve. That's what this is called over here. You adjust that by unscrewing this or tightening it, and it's threads on just this this ball. All that is plastic ball, and it slides on this slide right here, up and down with the water, and this adjusts that. Okay. There's also a little diaphragm thing in there. When this gets plugged up, or if it stops, or if it's making noise, it could be there's a little piece of plastic or something got in your water line and it shot up through there and it's clogging that, and it's preventing this from shutting off when it needs to. So there's a slight tip for you. And you can get the extra little diaphragms, and they show you, how to take this off when you go to the store. All fill valve trees are slightly different. I've not seen one exactly like this. The ones I used to install were from Fluid Master, and they look pretty close to this one. And there were certain ways to install it and to take it apart and all that good stuff. Sometimes after 4 or 5 years, they they break down, and no matter what you do, you can't get it to stop or something. Now it's time to replace your fill valve, you know. So anyways, I'm looking at everything, and I'm pretty happy now. Okay, I've got that tight. I've got that tight on the back side, and you just tighten things by hand. You don't need to tighten them so tight that you're going to break it, because that's just plastic. That's just plastic threads. If this ever gets loose, you can tighten it up, and then maybe take your pliers and give it a 1/16th of a turn. And make sure you're aware of which way you're tightening or loosening this, because some are reverse threads. Some are regular, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, but then others are reverse threads. So when you have one on there and you want to tighten it, or you're not sure if you want to remove this and this is tight, you gotta remember it might be the other way. So as you're trying to loosen it, you're actually tightening it, and you could break something else if you're not careful. Okay.